A fuel surcharge can add 15 to 40% to your rail freight bill, yet most shippers have no idea how it's calculated. Unlike trucking, where fuel costs are straightforward, rail fuel surcharges use a complex formula tied to diesel prices, distance, and railroad-specific multipliers. Understanding this system isn't just about reading your invoice, it's about accurate budgeting and avoiding surprises that can derail your logistics budget. All 6 Class 1 railroads, BNSF, Union Pacific, CSX, Norfolk Southern, Canadian National, and CPKC, base their fuel surcharges on the Department of Energy's weekly diesel fuel price index. This creates the foundation price, but here's where it gets complicated. Each railroad applies their own calculation method. Some use a straight percentage, others use tiered scales, and fuel surcharge rates can change weekly based on these published fuel prices. The base calculation starts with the Energy Information Administration's weekly average diesel price. When diesel costs exceed a railroad's baseline, typically around $2.50 per gallon, the fuel surcharge kicks in. For every 10 cents above this baseline, railroads typically add 1 to 3% to your freight rate. This means when diesel hits $4 per gallon, you're looking at a 15 to 45% fuel surcharge on top of your base rate. Distance plays a crucial role that many shippers overlook. Fuel surcharges aren't just a flat percentage, they're often calculated per mile or per route segment. A shipment from Chicago to Los Angeles faces higher fuel surcharges than Chicago to St. Louis, even with the same commodity and car type. Some railroads also apply different rates for loaded versus empty miles, meaning your surcharge calculation includes the positioning costs for getting that rail car to your facility. Each railroad publishes their fuel surcharge tables, but reading them requires understanding their specific methodology. BNSF uses a percentage-based system tied directly to diesel prices. Union Pacific employs a tiered approach with different rates for different price ranges. CSX and Norfolk Southern have their own variations, while Canadian carriers factor in currency exchange rates. These differences can mean identical shipments cost vastly different amounts depending on your chosen railroad. Commodity type and car ownership also affect fuel surcharge calculations. High-volume bulk commodities like coal or grain often receive reduced fuel surcharge rates compared to manufactured goods. Additionally, if you're using railroad-owned cars versus private cars, the fuel surcharge structure may differ. Some railroads apply fuel surcharges only to the line haul portion, while others include it in switching and accessorial charges. Smart shippers build fuel surcharge volatility into their annual budgets using historical data and forecasting. Track the EIA diesel price trends over the past 12 months, identify seasonal patterns, and build in a buffer of 5 to 10% above current surcharge levels. Many successful companies also negotiate fuel surcharge caps or floors with their rail logistics providers, creating predictable costs even when diesel prices spike. Understanding rail fuel surcharges transforms you from a passive bill payer into an informed logistics manager. When you know how these calculations work, you can make smarter routing decisions, time your shipments strategically, and negotiate better terms. For expert guidance on managing rail fuel costs and optimizing your rail logistics strategy, visit steelwheellogistics.com and connect with our team of rail logistics specialists.